right, folks, welcome to this afternoon's edition of the All New Sports Show, our fourth round edition.
Yes.
This week, film before a live studio audience.
It's a regional finals recap extravaganza.
Folks, it's so big, it's so bad, it's so awesome. We had to bring in the live crowd. And who knows, we might even get some crowd interaction a little later on in the show, but we'll save that for you folks. That's what they call a teaser
Yes.
in the biz.
Absolutely. We love
Folks,
the biz.
I'm Wes Bradshaw. He's Ed Green. If you don't know us by now, we are, of course, the company.
Yes. And there's a lot of you new to this page here.
That's
so
right.
That's been really great.
We've been blowing up here over the playoff run, and we thank everyone so much for their support of us here on the All New Sports Show. Even though, this is, of course, our swan song
Yes.
as Ed. It has officially happened. We have reached our final week of football.
It ends as it began.
It ends as it began.
Yeah.
And folks, we'll wrap up some more definitely next week on the show. But we just want to thank everyone. Like we said, folks, we've been doing this five.
This is season 5.
This is season 5, and we're laughing because in the last 3 months we pretty much doubled our Facebook views, and we've been on for 3-4 years on Facebook. And now suddenly everybody's blowing up on it, and we want to thank everyone so much for hopping on with us. Hey, we're just two dummies who between us never played it down in college football. That's our Wesleyan tag.
Yeah, you never played it down to college football.
Yeah,
I never played it down to
organized
organized
football. Never played
football.
it down to organized football. And if you talk to my friends, I didn't play it very well. So
perfect.
But folks, we've enjoyed each and every week being able for really the last 5 years being able to talk to you guys, and especially in a big time playoff run.
Yes.
And Ed, Friday night, this playoff run was literally down to the last strand that maybe makes up this luxurious Trump hotel blanket.
That's why we're lighting it on fire at the end of this.
So maybe the last strand was left in our playoff run, the All New Sports playoff run. And all of a sudden, folks, the Rocky Mount Griffons, I mean, I'm not going to lie, they found a miracle.
Yes, they did.
They found as I think I said to you, maybe the drive before that, or actually I believe it was going out for that drive.
No, you did.
I looked at you, and I said if Rocky Mount has one bullet for the gun, they better get it out and put it in right now.
And the name of that bullet was Detrell Revis.
And then I looked at you and said, oh, look, there goes Revis. Something's about to happen.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you'll see it a little later, the footage that's really getting around the internet, going viral, at least in the Nash Edge a
little bit.
We're going to definitely let you guys check that out a little later. But just an absolute, I mean, to me, I spoke to Mike Gainey, you saw the interview with Jason Battle. No one's ever seen anything like that happen.
As you quoted in our post game, only the second 99-yard touchdown pass in Rocky Mount history.
Exactly, and the other one was when they were up 3 touchdowns against Kinston, and they won a massive blowout back in 2005. So this one obviously had a little more meaning to it.
A little bit.
When you're literally sitting with your season on the line, 99 yards from pay dirt, and Rocky Mount found a way to get it done. They go to overtime. They get what turns out to be a very fortuitous penalty against Rocky Mount. I think this is kind of lost in the.
There's a couple things lost. Yeah.
There's a couple things lost, but right before the missed extra point in the third overtime, Rocky Mount actually got an encroachment penalty.
Yes.
Shaheen Battle jumped very early. The halfback kicker made the kick, but it was a dead ball penalty. They had to re-kick on the next one, a high snap before they got it down, unable to get the kick through the upright. So Shaheen Battle, who was, by the way, massively in the running for our All New Sports Show player of the game, that young man, only a sophomore, he's going to be fantastic for the Griffons. He already is. Had the early play of the game, the pick six that got him the lead before halftime. And he had some really nice plays in that game, but maybe none bigger than a boneheaded penalty.
It happened a few times. Big thing about that one is, and I was thinking it as we went on that night, it actually reminded me, the whole game reminded me a lot of last year's state final. That play, though, in particular, reminded me of something that actually happened, I believe, in the overtime period. Chase Miller had gone out to go to kick the winning field goal in that overtime game, and this was in the state finals last year. South Point jumped in a similar fashion, and Jason Battle declined the penalty. And I was a little confused. I was like, why wouldn't you want to get even closer on a field goal attempt? And then somebody told me it was about the 3.5-yard line, which is about where you're doing extra points anyway.
Exactly.
Why get it closer and throw your rhythm off?
Mm-hmm.
Keep it exactly where it should be, where he's used to doing for extra points.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Miller made that one. The kicker for Havelock, unfortunately for him, did not, as it got a little bit closer, and that was really the defining factor of the game. I will also say, and this is something that's not going to come up anymore because Rocky Mount ended up winning the game,
Mm-hmm.
but what could have been a huge turning point that a lot of people are going to miss is right before the way it got to 17-10, Shabias Lynch fumble right at the goal line.
Mm-hmm.
Havelock scoops, scores easily.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they were so far pinned in was because they got Havelock had to punt.
Mm-hmm.
On the play before that Havelock punt, there was a fumbled snap that Rocky Mount really could have jumped on.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had the ball about midfield in a 10-10 game with about 4.5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, it was around the 6 to 5 mark. Yeah.
And that's a play because Rocky Mount had a chance to pick up that fumble that if they had not gone on to win this game could have been defining because they don't get the fumble. Havelock punts, pins Rocky Mount deep. They fumble. Havelock puts it in, and they go up a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Another big play is, and we debated a little bit about this. Havelock trying to score from their own almost half-yard, from the Rocky Mount half-yard line, on a 4th and goal with about 40 seconds left in the game, instead of trying to kick a field goal, which would still have made it a 2-score game. I thought, kick the field goal.
That would obviously iced it if you did it.
Yeah, kick the field goal. The worst that can happen is they're about in the same position anyway. Instead, they go for it, end up turning over, allow Rocky Mount to have it. Now, still, the chances of Rocky Mount converting on that play is like 1%. I still say you should have kicked the field goal, but
I'm not gonna argue and say you're wrong. I'll give you my opinion because I think me and Baseball Brett Johnson, whose opinion I value as highly as literally anyone in the football world, he agreed with you.
Yeah,
he said, "Why'd you just kick the field goal?" Here's just my line of thinking.
Because not everybody's Chase Miller who goes 4 for 4 on extra points and 2 for 2 on field goals.
I said they have a very good field goal kicker.
Yes,
and we saw that. That young man was nearly automatic himself. Missed a field goal that would have won it in regulation late. That was a long field goal. Didn't get a lot of it. My only issue with going for the field goal, a couple things. One, if you miss the field goal, instead of having them at the 1, you put them at the 20. Which, while still that's improbable, you're still giving them some field position. You're giving them some room. 2, if Rocky Mount blocks that field goal and Detrell Rivas is more than likely there on the end of it somewhere, he's scooping and he's scoring. Which
Middle Creek did in their game against Wake Forest.
And Middle Creek did, exactly. And at that point, you're going, "Oh my God, you idiot! Why did you?
That's true.
Kick the extra point, or why'd you kick the field goal?" And I saw online there, especially on NC Preps, there are a lot of people killing Jim Bob Bryant. A
lot of rational comments as usual on the internet.
Yes, especially from the South Point supporters.
Yeah.
Sure, that'll be fun again this week as always. But to me, I would have gone for it because here's my worst case. Well, we saw the worst case scenario.
you hit snake eyes.
Yeah, I hit snake eyes on that. But my rationale, and I think Jim Bob Bryant's rationale is, if you don't get him from the 1, well, first of all, 4th and 1 from the 1 yard line, or 4th and goal from the 1 yard line, the way my offensive line had played throughout the night,
that's true.
I'm figuring we can get a yard. And I'm looking at my guys, I'm saying, this is a yard for your lives. And now that said, the Rocky Mount defense, who, God bless them, they were phenomenal Friday night under some tough circumstances. The Rocky Mount defense was excellent. Yeah,
give them a lot of credit because they had just gone down a score. This was basically their entire season. And really, with that little time left, you wouldn't have been hard on them if they had allowed the score there. The morale would have been way down, but they stepped up. Even when it didn't look like it would really matter, it mattered enough.
They step up, they make the stop. And then at that point, now I'm standing on the sidelines looking at you saying we're going to win.
Yep.
I told the Fault brothers we're going to win.
Yep.
I do a lot of this because I'm a bleeding optimist.
Yes, you are. They call you West Positive Bradshaw.
I'm totally a glass half full person. That's my personality. I'm one of those, I guess I've seen enough sports movies to say, hey, we played to the last second. A part of me's going, oh, God, God.
I'd even talk to you. We were sitting on the sidelines. I think it was about going into the drive where Havelock got stopped at the 1. And I turned to you and said, so in the Armageddon scenario, do we just go to Raleigh and check out the games next Saturday?
And I just said, no, I'm not going.
No, okay.
I'm not going.
No.
but now we're going.
Yeah.
But,
We're gonna
you
wait
know, I
first.
thought Havelock, I still don't have a problem with Havelock did. The biggest problem I had with Havelock was
Yeah.
how they set up defensively.
Yeah.
Why are you playing safeties at the tip and pair of safeties?
Yeah.
Which they had played all night. They played two safeties deep all night.
Would you like to show the play now since you're talking about it, or do you want to show that
You
later?
guys want to see the play? You do?
Yeah, right.
All right, we're going to show you the play. I mean, let's look. The safeties. Okay, Rocky Mount's here on the wall. Oh, excuse me, what am I doing?
Yes, you have props.
I have a pointer.
This is why we gave it to you.
Rocky Mount's here on the 1. Here's the safeties right here pre-snap at about the 12-yard line, and you only see one here based on this film. Let's see if you can pick up second safety. Second safety is lined up. Okay, he's at the 11. Second safety is lined up about 10 yards on the right side of him. I mean, why is this guy not standing at the 35-yard line?
Here, we'll go ahead and go.
And here's the throw, and right here, there is that second safety right there, where, you know, you see where he catches the ball at about the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
If he's at the 35, bam, he hits Rivas, and that's a nice play, but it's what it is. Instead, Detrell Rivas is the best athlete on the field.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Love you, Sherrod.
Yeah.
That's the best athlete on the field. Chris Falk is there to give him dap on the way by.
Yep.
The Falk brothers, who said they were leaving, decided to stick around for the last play in the end zone, and they saw the miracle.
Thanks to Rocky Mount High School Football for posting that on their Facebook page.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
So thanks.
And you know, find it there, find it on our page.
Yeah.
We've reposted it. A lot of people have reposted it. So if you haven't had a chance to see the play, that's the time. If you want to see the entire overtime period, go to our page, because at last look, about 9,000 people had sat and watched overtime from our feed. So
thanks, Phil Ford.
Thanks, Phil Ford. Yeah, thanks, everybody.
You know, we joke a lot. You know, only thing prevent defense does is prevent you from winning. In this case, that's because in a prevent defense, which Rocky Mount kind of played when Havelock had their last possession in overtime a little bit, and it almost did prevent them from winning. But what it does
it's hard to do things from 10 yards.
It is. And also the other thing was Rocky Mount had no timeouts.
Right.
So even if you give up 20 yards, okay, so now they're setting up at about their 30 with now 20 seconds left. Clock stops on change of possession. They either have to spike it,
which more likely goes up and spikes it,
and then they have about 18 seconds left to now go 70 yards.
And you know,
and a field goal doesn't beat you.
Can we go back to the video?
Sure. Do you want to go back to the beginning?
Take it back to about halfway through that play. Yeah. Back a little farther. A little farther. Keep going right.
Isn't this technology great?
There we go. Okay. Right here, you've got safety, corner, safety. Actually, that might be a linebacker. Rivas, when we hit play, you'll see Rivas is almost caught at midfield. The move of the game was when he put that little outside move on to separate. If Rivas gets caught at the 50, Rocky Mount's not winning that football game.
No.
Because, like you said, at that point, you're at about 20 seconds or so. You're having to run the team up 50 yards. You're having to spike it. And then at that point, Havelock's playing those safeties deep. You're not getting behind that defense again. And the way it had gone, go ahead. Right there. That won the football game. Because right there, he got the angle. Chris Falk with the dap. And that took him away from it. That ran him away from everyone. If he gets caught anywhere on that play, Rocky Mount's not winning the football game, because then Havelock is like, okay, we gambled. You know, for whatever reason they gambled and played playoffs. Still don't understand that. But that was it. It was one play. There was only one play that could happen. It had to be a 99-yard touchdown, and that's exactly what happened. It's the most insane, miraculous football thing I've ever seen. You know, you can have your 30 laterals. I don't care about that, because that was one play in the heat of the game, not being able to really sit there and set up for anything. It wasn't by chance. It was by design. They saw what they saw. The defense played into it perfectly for them. And Detrell Rivas, with his first reception of the season,
not bad.
His only offensive play Friday night. So Detrell, you know what? For many reasons, I wish Charles Austin was still here. But you know, I love to tell Charles that Britt Johnson is the all-time leading hitter in Rocky Mount history, because he was 1 for 2 and had a 500 batting average. Detrell Rivas has one catch for 99 yards now, and that's his
greatest receiving seathen in Rocky Mount history.
Exactly. I mean, he averaged 99 yards a catch.
That's not bad.
He averaged a touchdown.
You literally can't do better.
No, you can't do better. But then in the overtime period, especially, that's where this young man came into play. Chase Miller, with all the pressure in the world on him. My favorite part of that game well, my favorite moment from Chase Miller.
Yeah.
When he's going for the kick in the third overtime, Havelock takes her timeout and ices him. Chase Miller stands right there, puts his hands above his head and starts clapping and shaking his head like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Ice me.
You know what?
Please,
he also did that a little bit. Even though they didn't ice him, they did that a little bit on what we also haven't really touched on in terms of ice water going through your veins.
Oh, yeah.
After Rivas scores that, it's 17-16. Havelock's still leading. He has to make that extra point.
And they had about 3 stoppages of play by the official before, and he's just standing
there.
And
you see him do the same thing. The band's going nuts. Fans are going nuts. And he's just like, all right.
But I love that when Havelock called that timeout in the third overtime to ice him, he just let him and said, guys, you can do whatever you want. You're not icing me. You're not beating me tonight. And that extra point, there was no doubt about it. KK Edwards, let me say, David Keck is your long snapper. He's also your starting center. That kid was pounding all night long. For him to come and also do your long snapping, because a lot of times you don't see your center long snap for you. For him to still do the long snapping, he was beat to absolute HE double hockey sticks. It wasn't the perfect snap, but it was there. And KK Edwards is your holder. Talking to Britt Johnson once again. Britt was a long snapper in college and at Rocky Mount. Those are two guys, the snapper and the holder. The only time you ever realize they're there is when somebody screws up. Those two on 6 kicks Friday night, 4 extra points, 2 field goals. They were there. The snaps were there. The hold was there. And Chase Miller just was able to walk right through that ball every time. That's the special teams right now. And Britt Johnson, I know I'm putting Britt over hard here today. Britt said to me the last 2 weeks, Southern Guilford and Havelock, he said Rocky Mount special teams can win them the football game.
KK Edwards was also huge in that Southern Nash game because there were a few snaps that weren't great on extra point attempts, and he held them perfectly. So KK Edwards gets a lot of credit.
And had a touchdown grab.
Yeah, not too bad.
In overtime the other night, had a touchdown grab. So,
let's also give credit to Lynch to come back after the fumble, which basically in 99 times out of 100
you just gave him the game.
Effectively ends your season. And to come back and make that throw to Rivas in basically literally 5 minutes of real time later.
I mean, had the pass rush coming, stepped into it. Was one thing about Shavius Lynch, he has shown me he's not a big kid. He's 5'10", about 170 pounds. He is not afraid to stand in his pocket and take a hit.
Got harried a lot by Havelock on a previous drive.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it against Southern Nash a few weeks ago. We saw even Southern Guilford up front, very good.
Yes.
And he had people in his face a lot in these playoffs. And he stands there. He's cool. He delivers. Is he the second coming of Tom Brady? No. We love you. We love you, Seamus. Not the second coming of Tom Brady. But he has done everything he needed to do to put his team in position. And he had a couple balls the other night that maybe should have been called. There were a couple I thought were blatant pass interference didn't get called.
One we thought was going to get called.
So Shavius Lynch, give that kid all the credit in the world. He is, it's not normal to say the quarterback is kind of like your undercover. No one notices the quarterback and he's doing everything. This kid, he's not getting a lot of press, but he has been. I mean, he's been perfect. And Jason Battle put him in at the beginning of the playoffs and said this kid doesn't make mistakes. And for the most part, he has not made mistakes.
And we've talked about a lot of the micro plays in this game. Let's talk more macro because I think that transitions well from talking about Lynch because this was a Rocky Mount offense that a lot of the night didn't really have anything going for it. B.J. Sanders held in check a lot of the night. Sherrod Green held in check a lot of the night. This running back core, which had really come alive the last couple weeks, was basically nullified by a great Havelock defense, and that's what it came down to: a field goal on their opening possession, a pick six, and a miracle, and still somehow Rocky Mount found a way to get it to overtime, and then in overtime, two of their possessions, they scored touchdowns on the first play.
I mean,
granted, you're starting from the 10, but
Sherrod Green was suddenly just playing people on their toes. And we'll talk a little on that in a moment as well. Really good write up today in the Telegram, kind of wrapping up Friday night, talking about Shaheem Battle. He walked right into that interception. it was all game study. He knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
He said he knew from the way the receiver lined up.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what route he was going to run. That's why he jumped that
Mm-hmm.
route. And what at the time was, oh, this is great. We got this
Mm-hmm.
huge play. That turned out to actually be the one that kept you in the football game.
Yes.
So, it was as crucial as anything else
Mm-hmm.
that happened. And then to return it,
Mm-hmm.
that was even bigger. I saw a little bit, though, the injury bug did start to hit Rocky Mountain.
Yes.
We talk about Sherrod
Mm-hmm.
Green overtime. Sherrod Green took a hard hit on his knee in the fourth quarter. I mean, Mike Gainey and I kind of exchanged a look a little later. He said, well, we ain't going to see 44 again tonight. And then the next thing you know, with those last couple of defensive drives, here's Sherrod Green, 100, not 100% at all. I was about to say 100%, not 100%.
Yeah.
Good old double negative Wes. He's out there basically playing on one leg.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell he had lost a lot of explosiveness. The 28-degree weather did not help. Didn't bother me.
Of course not. Shorts.
Shorts, baby. But
and yet still found enough explosiveness to score from a 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line in the third overtime.
Bouncing off of defenders and running people over.
Yeah,
and
basically looking like the Sherrod Green we've seen running the ball the last couple weeks.
Ortavis Richardson came out late in that ball game with an injury. He only missed one play and came back in. So that's going to be one thing. Now, we're going to be heading to the press conference tomorrow morning.
So if you're in work tomorrow morning, just have your phone right here. We're going to try to go live from those.
If you can't catch it live at work, of course you can check it out on our page.
It'll
be posted tomorrow. We're gonna try to do some different things up at over the press conference tomorrow. But one thing we got to find out about the injury situation.
Yeah.
Because last year going into the state title game, Sherrod Green was on a bum ankle. Had a good game.
Yes, he did.
Wasn't 100% Sherrod Green. And this year, let's see what happened with the knee. Richardson seemed like he was okay when he came back in. So I'm not expecting there to be much wrong there.
We don't speculate on injuries.
We never did.
But it kind of looked from the way he reacted. It just looked like he fell awkwardly, especially in his back. So I wondered if maybe that was a little bit, given the cold, given how hard that turf was by the end of that game, if just landing like he did just maybe gave him a sort of stinger right there, maybe in his lower back, which might explain how he was able to come back in after sitting out a play. But we will have to see if there's something that goes farther.
Of course. But that's something we'll find out tomorrow. And folks, hey, tell you what, look, while you're watching the show today, we forgot to do it.
What's that?
Most important thing ever, we forgot to put ourselves over.
I thought we do that at the end too, but okay.
We always start with it.
All right.
It's going to put us over, but look, we know if you're watching this, you can send us your comments right now. If there's something you wanted over the press conference tomorrow, hey, just shoot us a comment or getting our DMs on Twitter.
I did them.
Yeah, slide in the DMs. Whatever. Hey, if you've got a question, if you think it's a good question, send it to us. We'll ask it tomorrow. Trust me, I can't come up with very good questions.
Yeah, or if you want to add some questions, since we are going to try to be live tomorrow from the press conference, if there is something you want to ask us, we've tried this before. I guess a lot of you didn't want to ask Roberto Mancini a question this summer.
Why would you? You knew it was on the way out.
Of course. No questions to ask there. But if you want to ask Jason Battle a question tomorrow, if we think it's a pretty good question, and we have the opportunity to ask it, we will definitely do so.
Trust me, folks, my opening question, all I got is, because remember that time we went to state and we won, and then we went back? Yeah, that was pretty cool. So, yeah.
Don't get too many Chris Farley impersonations here.
I'm a fat guy.
Exactly.
Anyway. So let's put ourselves over.
So you're probably watching this on Facebook Live right now, which is facebook.com/allnewsportshow. You can also get us on Twitter at allnewsportshow. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/theallnewsportshow. You can email us if you want to email us a question for Jason Battle. If you think of one late tonight, email us allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Letters and parcels, again, slide in those DMs on Twitter and we'll get you an address.
And you on Twitter?
Oh, I am at Edward Green. You are?
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21. So hey, if you just want to shoot one of us something, go for it, folks. We're looking. We're definitely going to enjoy ourselves more. Ed asked me. He said, "So are you planning to go?" I said, "Ed, I've been to these for years. Last year, Rocky Mountain goes. I'm out of town.
Yeah.
I'm still devastated." And heartbroken for being out of town.
And now, out of the kindness of their hearts, Rocky Mountain and South Point have decided to just recreate last year's game.
They're going to reenact everything just for old West, and that's a big thing. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I needed that. But I told Ed, I said I wouldn't miss this literally for the world. Yeah. So we will be there.
The entire thing, I believe, starts about 9:30 tomorrow morning.
Yeah, around 9:30.
We don't know then how. I've been to a basketball one. That was a little more free form, where the coaches would just kind of chill at tables and you would go up to them.
And that's kind of what they'll do at football is they'll move them to different spots. They'll have designated spots, and the media will have time to go in and talk to them. Just look for us maybe around between the 10 and 11 hour.
Sure.
Because they'll probably open up. They'll give you a lot of normal. They'll talk a lot to the athletic departments to start with. So you folks at home don't need all that, but we'll definitely check us out tomorrow. We'll have some good stuff for you. We're planning to have fun. I'm planning to have fun because, folks, this is the last ride of the All New Sports.
Yes, it is.
And by God, we're going out swinging.
Yes, and we're going to go out swinging as Rocky Mountain is going to head to Winston-Salem, Wake Forest University for the site of this game. They're going to play this Saturday at 11 a.m. against South Point, and again, this is a replay of the 2015 3A final. So last year's final, which of course ended in a 24-21 overtime win for Rocky Mount.
And if you do happen to find yourself in the internet wormhole of the world and end up on NC Preps, and by the way, we love NC Preps. That's our good friend Deanna King runs that. She's spectacular. It's a great website. There is a subsection of South Point fans, though, who are quite vocal. May not have graduated high school for all I know.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. But they are already talking about how Rocky Mountain's had it coming for a year, and they're thrilled to have Rocky Mountain.
Of course they are.
So for our Western North Carolina brethren in Belmont and the Belmont surrounding area, gentlemen, good luck this Saturday.
It's gonna be fun. Hey, now that's cutting a promo.
Me, folks, I'll cut it. And another thing.
There you go.
Where's my sports coat? I'm gonna drop my elbow on it.
So this game ends 3 overtimes. Anything else you want to add before we go to the other game? Macro or micro?
I just find it a little ironic that a lot of Jimmy V stuff going on last week, and what's Jimmy V known for saying? Never give up.
Don't give up.
I'm not making this a cancer thing, but really, hey, you go down to the last thing, and if we learned anything, you play till 0, and Rocky Mountain.
One thing we did see, real quick,
Go ahead.
Jason Battle a couple times during the game took the hairdryer out a little bit.
That's it.
Haven't seen it a lot these playoffs, but felt it necessary.
Gotta do what you gotta do. It's obviously worked out.
Our other game from the NCAA football Eastern Finals, unfortunately, will go down as a loss. Wallace Rose Hill 35, Tarboro 17.
A score that does not really reflect this football game.
Which I believe we're going to be talking more with Ethan Joyce about this in a little bit. But Tarboro does finish the season at 12-3, a perfect conference mark. And this is now officially the 9th straight double-digit win season for Tarboro. Of course, a lot of that came in 2A, on the road to 5 straight state titles. And now in 1A, they've had 4 more straight double-digit win seasons. Unfortunate that the Tarboro run ends here. You think maybe 3 or 4 times out of 10, maybe this game goes the other way. And not to take anything away from Wallace Rose Hill, but it was a great team. Tarboro, though, a lot of self-inflicted wins in this one,
which has not been their MO this year.
No, not at all. Especially given how young a team they are.
Yeah. Given that said, though, 12-3, we actually broadcast both those losses. And in those games, there were some self-inflicted wounds. So you've seen when it happens.
Many more the Northern Nash game than Southern.
Yeah, me more the Northern game. Southern game was just an absolute dogfight.
Yeah, and they got
but end of the year, this is a Tarboro team, and you never want to say, well, next year's year. This year wasn't your year anyway. That doesn't help anyone who is on that team.
Not today.
Mentally, in their heart, that doesn't help anyone. But I mean, for these kids, 12-3 against the schedule they played to go 12-3 Eastern Finals. They do lose to Wallace Rose Hill, who, for my money, is going to go win the 1AA for a third consecutive year. I mean, there is no shame at all in losing to this team. These were the 2 best 1AA teams, probably in the state, because I would venture to say the winner of that game was winning the state title. Tarboro, they have to go on the road, and it was just the night that everything. When you go play a great football team like Wallace Rose Hill, and you go on the road, everything's got to fall for you. Everything's got to fall your way. It's got to be perfect. Tarboro, I believe, 3 defensive touchdowns from Rose Hill.
Open the game with one.
Yeah, I mean, you take that off at 17-14.
Yeah.
For Tarboro, I'll tell you one guy they're really going to miss is Dawson Harris.
Yes.
Because Jeff Craddock will tell you, and we'll tell you from seeing Tarboro for a long time, good kickers don't come around every day.
Mm-hmm.
We'll tell you from seeing anybody, good kicker, unless you're Fike and have a
Galarmas.
have a Galarmas in the system somewhere. Great kickers don't come around every day. And that's going to be a hurdle for Tarboro next year. But for that Tarboro team, like Ed said, loaded with juniors, loaded with sophomores. Jaquez Edge had a huge game the other night for Tarboro. He's a sophomore. Yeah. His twin brother's a sophomore. They got a lot of juniors, a lot of kids who next year will be 2 and 3 year starters on varsity. Let's put it this way: don't cry for Tarboro because no one in the 1A ranks is going to cry for them next year.
And the other thing is, this team won't be an issue next season.
Exactly. They exercised one demon by beating James Keenan. The Tarboro now have lost 4 games against 1A competition since moving down to 1A.
Yep.
1 against James Keenan, 3 to Wallace Rosehill.
Yeah.
Now you hate to say, well, they're moving up, so we don't have to worry about them anymore. Tarboro wanted this one so bad.
Oh, of course.
But you know what? At the end of the day, that's one thing that's not your way anymore. Now that said, it's not like Tarboro can suddenly rest on their laurels just because.
I mean, that East Carteret game was a dogfight.
Oh my God, yeah, East Carteret's still gonna be good. I haven't taken a look at everybody who's coming down to 1A.
That's true.
That's what you got to look for. The 2A team's coming down because remember Tarboro was that big dog who came down 4 years ago. So no one's gonna cry for Tarboro at the end of the day. Viking fans, we love you guys. We were so hoping for a state championship doubleheader this week. We could have
done the double.
Oh, we were going to Chapel Hill Friday night. We still might. Maybe not. We're heading to Winston on Saturday morning. We had it all planned out.
Yeah.
But for Jeff Craddock, Andy Harding, the Vikings of Tarboro, we love you guys. And we're just really, really sad to see Tarboro go down. But you know what? They went down swinging. They went down fighting. As we said, that final score didn't really reflect that game. And we're going to talk to Ethan Joyce in just a few minutes. He's going to give us more of the insight on it. He was there.
He was there.
Our eyes on the ground.
Yes, he was.
So we're going to get ready and get him on the phone. But Ed, as you know, when it's time to get him on the phone.
Yes.
We have to burn a minute or two.
Yes, we do. And what better way? Maybe not today, but what better way to burn a minute than with the most exciting minute of your week? Maybe not ours this week, but it is time for 60 seconds of soccer.
Studio audience is going crazy over the soccer right now. Oh my goodness!
All right.
Totally tell it.
This man yelling at Spurs to get in the box more. This man pointing at Loris Karius to do his job. That's about what is going on here. So let's take a minute as you get Ethan Joyce on the phone. Tottenham go to Old Trafford today, the Theatre of Dreams, I believe they refer to it as, and lose 1-0 on a Enric Mkhitaryan. Apparently, Jose Mourinho just found out that guy's good at football. Who knew? Besides literally all of Germany last year. Mkhitaryan comes, scores in a 1-0 win, the second straight season. That's not a good look. That United beat Tottenham 1-0 at United. Of course, last year, the reverse fixture, Tottenham won 3-0 over United, so a lot still to go there. Before we put Ethan Joyce on the line, Wes, 2 drop points today?
Oh, definitely 2 drop points for the Pool. West Ham coming to town, a spiraling West Ham. Get it? Spiraling ham. Yeah. Spiral ham. There's my
food
joke. Oh, food into food. Liverpool, though, I didn't get a chance to see the match. I'm going to have to go home and sad watch it later.
Of course.
After The Walking Dead tonight, of course. Because I'll be The Walking Dead. But Liverpool just unable to get it done today. They went up early, then went down 2-1. Were able to get one back on another Divock Origi goal. At least that guy's playing.
Yeah.
But it looks like a couple lost points for Liverpool. And suddenly the black cloud of goalkeeping controversy, which had been seeping in last week, and suddenly the rain is starting from that black cloud.
If you would like to hear more about Wes trying to defend Liverpool's goalkeeping situation, please tune into the Foreign Affair podcast this week. It might be a slightly different reaction than what we had in our discussion last week. But before we go to Ethan Joyce, real quick, at least we can take solace in the fact we're not City.
God, that's good. Our coaches aren't bald.
Yeah.
And they can coach.
Oh, you know who else is in bold?
Oh, that's a head of hair on Ethan Joyce. Ethan Joyce, welcome back to the all new sports show.
Hey, guys.
Oh.
Ethan, so glad to have you, buddy. Unfortunate circumstances we may have.
Yeah, glass breaking, everything.
I have no idea what it's because Britt sent me something. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Britt is on the very exclusive list of comes over even when silenced.
Don't call us.
Ethan, you took the trip down I-40 to Wallace Rose Hill Friday night. The Vikings 35-17, but as we said just a few minutes ago, that score doesn't adequately reflect that football game in the eyes of Tarboro fans.
Yeah, I mean, first off, it was a cold night as you guys sat through too. I know you're saying Shiraz lost his a little bit of his explosiveness. I know I lost a little bit of mine.
You missed me. I had mine.
Yeah, we needed on that Revis one.
Yeah, but Tarboro, if you look at the box score, they give up 35 points, but really the defense only gave up 14.
Mm-hmm.
And the first play of Tarboro's, the first series Tarboro has, the third play of the game for them, to fumble, and Walter Hill scoops it up. Mm-hmm. And Tarboro holds them to turnover on downs to follow with that. And so, they went from giving up the ball to not allowing a thing at all. And, you kind of got this sense like, wow, man, if this defense can buck up like that against, short field and hold Walls Rose Hill right there, because, I mean, that place was rocking by the time that game started. You kind of got the feeling like, man, this Tarboro team is going to be legit and really hold them off. And then the next thing you know it, Wallace Rose Hill gets this weird interception off of a toss attempt. It was like maybe one of the only option plays that Tarboro runs, and like it was a toss that hung in the air way too long, and Wallace Rose Hill scoops it up, and so then they add another touchdown, and Tarboro ends up fighting their way back, but then they start the third quarter off the same way, really. You have a fumble that allows them to scoop and score, and it seemed like that was that play and the play later on. I guess it was near the start of the fourth when Dalton Harris goes to punt it, and I don't know if a defender hit it with his hand or if it was just a cold ball and a cold foot, and it was just a wobbler that came out, but it maybe went 9 yards in total gain, and the guy just grabbed it. I mean, he was in such an awkward spot for the coverage team that he just took off and scored. And like that, it was those two plays. You could just really see the all that excitement and fire that started with Tarboro. It kind of went away just because it was, they were disappointed and they had every right to be.
Mm-hmm. How does Jeff Craddock feel after a game like this? I mean, I'm sure you talked to him after the game, but how does he feel when he sees so many things that all these little things that if they go in a different direction, maybe this team does pull out the victory on the road. How does Jeff Craddock feel after a game like this?
I mean, he obviously hates it, and he preaches so much about being responsible for your role, and just these little fluky things that happened that gave Wallace Rose Hill such a scoring advantage on him. It's just really unfortunate. He's obviously upset about it, and you could see it just in everything he mentioned. Now he was also pretty adamant that the defensive line for Wallace Rose Hill in the second half just completely outmanned him. And he had a quote that he said, they weren't bigger than us by any means, but they just legitimately outpushed us the rest of the game. And I think in the second half they had maybe 2 first downs on offense, and one of those came off a penalty. So I mean, they weren't getting anything going really, and it was it's a real shame because the defense plays pretty exceptional considering what they were working against, and that's not going to be one of the things you take away from this game because it's kind of the third or fourth tier item. But it's just a shame that it went down for it that way, and you could see it on everybody's face too. All the kids were just tore up about it. I've covered high school sports for, I don't know, I guess this is my third football season. And that was easily the hardest I've seen a team react to a postseason loss. Like, nothing comes close to it.
Well, you should have been in South Kinston last year. for Southwestern.
Or Havelock this year.
Yeah.
We finished ours up, and there were still Havelock
Yeah.
players in full uniform.
Not
and
to take anything away from the Tarboro kids.
No,
but
no. I mean, the whole thing, when you get to this
Yeah.
level, you've invested so much that
as
no
someone who
matter-
has made an Eastern final in a
Yeah.
sport in high school and lost.
Yeah.
I know.
As someone who has covered multiple
Yeah.
Eastern finals and seen my team lose in so many heartbreaking ways, I mean, it's when you put that much in, you get to an Eastern final, that means you are the elite of the elite. And when you are the elite, it means you have. To me, it means you've worked that much harder than everyone else. And disappointment means more than, not to take anything away from maybe let's say one of our 1-10, 1A teams that made the playoffs. But it meant a lot more for Tarboro to lose in the fourth round than for them to get blown out in the first round.
Absolutely.
So, and unfortunate for the Vikings, but and Ethan, let's find the silver lining, because as we said earlier, I'm the positive one here. I'm a beacon of positivity. Tarboro is loaded with juniors and sophomores who now have very big time playoff experience. This can only bode well for the Vikings going forward.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know if you guys noticed on the tail end of basically what was mostly a Rocky Mountain article. We just kind of mentioned that in the paper because I know people are still kind of getting over losing this, and those kids are never going to get over losing this to the full extent. But so much is coming back for them that it's hard not to think about what they can do next year. And just like you guys were saying earlier, I'm not sure who drops down either. But, having James Keenan and Wallace Rotel out of the way, now that's not, I guarantee that if you asked Coach Craddock, he would much rather than stay in 1A so he gets a chance to try to rip through them again. But, it looks like it's going to be a perfect combination for Tarboro to really, really be something next year. And, you guys mentioned Jaquez, and he's just a sophomore, and he's just so big. He's such a big kid. And he's just the perfect combo to go with Fuki Williams, and I don't really know how people are gonna be just to be able to stop him on offense next year. And losing Dawson Harris is big, like you were saying earlier, but they may just be handed off to Jaquez for every 2-point conversion now.
Which is what Tarboro has done a lot of.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. That's one way to do it. I wouldn't take it away from them doing that at all. But as you say, just looking forward to next year. That's big. Ethan, I think that's kind of going to put a bow on the season for the Tarboro Vikings. Let's flip the talk a little bit. Let's flip it back to Rocky Mountain. I know, folks. Wes wants to talk about Rocky Mountain. Go figure.
Yeah, some people commenting on our stream want to too, so it's fine.
Okay. Looking ahead to this week, I'm assuming. Now, I assume at times you know that, Ethan. Are you and Patrick planning to make it up to the press conference on Monday?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go trip. Me and Patrick and Jesse are gonna be riding.
Nuttery coming out of the office. Oh my God. This is All New Sports Show. This is what we do on the All New Sports Show. Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to be checking you guys out up there. And I know I'm figuring you guys have a big week planned out for the lead up to the state championship. Are we going to get all three of you guys in Winston-Salem next week?
No, you'll get me and Patrick, because unfortunately we're restricted to the fact that we have to design our sports section every day too. So Jesse takes the lumps for us so we can go out and have fun.
Can't all be Paul Durham.
Well, I'll tell you, not a bad deal for you guys. Y'all been here for one football season, and you got a state championship already.
And of course,
and of course, Patrick's literally been here 6 weeks.
Yeah, he's not too bad. So, and of course, Ethan, we're going to definitely look to talk to you and Patrick after the game on Saturday. As is our tradition, we bring in our local newspaper coverage after a state title game for a little roundtable discussion.
Sure. So. And we'll definitely talk about that, and you guys can make your on-air debuts in the Swan Song.
Get them real capped.
Yeah, we'll get you guys capped before everything folds.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Well, Ethan, look, man, we thank you so much for taking some time on this Sunday afternoon to talk to us. And we will be seeing you guys tomorrow at the press conference.
All right, brother. Take care.
Thanks, Ethan.
Have a good one, Ethan.
Well, I'll tell you what, Wes, if you want to, really quick, just to go back to something we're talking about, I actually brought up the final draft for 1A.
Uh-huh.
If you would like to take a quick perusal, since I believe you're a little more well-versed in teams, if you would like to take a quick peek as I scroll here and as we send off Ethan Joyce, we do the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack standings presented powered by Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel, which still
No, that didn't crack. It's gonna be terrible.
still delicious after all this time somehow. God, that is truly awful. So here we go. And there's no illusions anymore. We're not getting any money from them. Just move the laptop a little bit to there. Sorry about that. As you take a look, a lot of people went 5-1 this week. Wes Bradshaw was one of them. One of the few people to believe in Tarboro. He believed just too hard. But he does get Rocky Mountain.
My big belief was right here.
Yeah, this was huge.
14 straight years of Navy, and just something I read clicked it for me the other day. I just felt it was. They had a really nice article on the 4-letter word that we don't like to mention too much, the Espins. But just had a really good article in there, and Army's having a good season. Navy was kind of reeling, so I just figured, this is look. You want to talk about the ultimate of rivalry games?
Yeah, pretty good.
Sorry, at its bitter core, Duke Carolina does not hold to Army Navy when what it truly means comes down to, which is bragging rights.
Yeah.
And I just felt this was a year for Army. I'm a Navy fan, so.
Navy was ranked.
Navy was
so he does get Rocky Mountain, does get Army, and then everybody got these games right. Eastern Washington over Richmond, Youngstown State over Wofford.
Well, I mean, they probably all just picked the home team.
Pretty much.
That's what I did.
Tony Dowdy did not copy your picks this week because he also picked Navy, but he did pick Waller's Hill. So he also goes 5-1. Gets the 1AA games right. Gets Rocky Mountain right. Shocker. I copied Tony Dowdy this week, obviously. No, of course not. He copied me. I also picked Navy, but I did pick Waller's Hill, Rocky Mount, and got the 3. And of course, as we begin our sign off, it is St. Clintringham's Day. Clintringham's Day. Gotta get that N in there.
You know, we forgot the.
Yeah, it's fine.
Whatever.
This should be
You
great.
know what it means.
The record this week though is 4-2. Misses on Navy, misses on Tarboro, which means as the name St. Clintringham's Day denotes, this is the day of the year that comes around where Clint cannot mathematically finish better than 4th place. As we look at the standings, we love you, Clint. We do.
I'll do, Clint. I'll do.
Tony Dowdy goes. He's up to 63-21 this season. Wes Bradshaw 1 game back.
What's this blind loyalty?
Yes. Hey, picking Army kept you in it, and I am now 2 back of Tony Dowdy. Clint, as we said, is 8 back of 3rd place, 10 out of 1st. Adrift, as we would say in the Prem. So that means that this is.
It means 30 points, right?
Yeah. This is the final week of the season. Period. Because Rocky Mountain advanced. If Rocky Mountain had not pulled off that miracle, Tony Dowdy would have just won the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack. But he hasn't yet. So, Tony Dowdy, with a 1-game lead over West, 2-game lead over me, heading into what will absolutely be the final week.
And by the way, you pretty much know that me and Tony are both picking Rocky Mountain this week.
Yeah, so the other 5 games, which...
You've got to find some good stuff to mix in.
Well, I know there's the 1AA semifinals.
Yeah, we could just pick high school games.
We could.
Which I have no problem with, and I doubt Tony would.
Maybe we will. Definitely not picking the Shelby game, though.
No.
So
we'll find, because there's 8, so we'll find 6, and we'll find what the 2 blowouts are going to be like Shelby.
Yeah.
And then we'll just see that.
So anyway, those are your Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack standings, powered by Duke Gamer Fuel. Please, guys, keep buying Titanfall 2. Wow. Please, it's a good game. No, there's always a need, because EA will not support it otherwise. We are running down towards the end of the show here. Did you find
Tarboro's winning? We're just
okay.
Tarboro.
There you go. Oh yes. Oh well, there's that. So real quick, before we get out of here, one more time, we might show that one more time tonight as well. But where it eventually ends up, Final Four. Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah, keep going. Again, Rocky Mountain, easy. You always get it right early in the show, and then late in the show you just go, bro. Sorry. Rocky Mount beats Havelock 34-33 in triple overtime. South Point defeats High Britain 26-0. This is a game where throughout, I believe, most of the third quarter, High Britain hadn't gotten a first down.
South Point defense got the report from, put him over one more time, baseball Britt Johnson. Couldn't make it to Havelock this week, so he went to Lenore, went to High Brighton. He said South Point defense is legit.
And that is who Rocky Mount will be meeting, even though this says at 4 p.m.
That's not right.
No. At least we don't think so. That's according to the actual NCHSA
totally
website.
Against everything else that we've seen and reported.
Yeah.
I guess we can triple check that.
We'll know tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll triple check that. But as of now, it's an 11 a.m. game.
Yeah. And that again is the number one.
But if it changes, we'll give you plenty of notice for it.
Of course. We do have some questions real quick. Linwood Battle wants to know, how do you wear shorts at these cold games?
Because Linwood hardcore began many years ago. And as Ed knows, as Britt Johnson attested to this week, I'm an extremely superstitious person. As you notice, I've needed a haircut for about a month.
Yeah.
My patchy beard is still nice and patchy. I really need to shave it, but I feel that I can't do anything that's going to take this this rhythm away. So I will survive in the shorts for another week. My hair will stay long, woolly, and shaggy, and my beard will remain somewhat disgusting.
Brilliant.
But if Rocky Mount lifts a second straight state championship trophy, it was worth every itchy, hairy day.
Truly all worth it. We'll kind of end the show.
As I said, after the first quarter, I'm done anyway, so I don't really feel the legs anymore.
We'll give you guys a look one more time here at the play that sent Rocky Mount to the state title game, kind of, sort of. Or at least gave them the opportunity to, again, a 99-yard touchdown pass to Detrell Rivas. Nobody tackled him. The band is out in the field. So that is about going to do it. David Quick is with you on that. Again, we will be trying to go live from Vaughn Towers tomorrow, where they'll be doing the press conferences at NC State's campus, which is where I wish this game was. As we have now another unofficial third member of the All New Sports Show, Clint.
That's right, folks. This is the All New Sports Show, Pretty Little Princess. This is Miss Callie, a diehard 4-year-old Griffon fan from the southern end of Edgecombe County. So don't step on that. So Edgecombe County, sorry guys, she's a little blue and gold, and I believe you have a prediction for the Griffons this Saturday. What's your prediction, sweetie?
We're gonna win state.
You heard it there, folks.
There you go.
From the mouth of babes. Yeah. We're gonna win state.
Mittens isn't calling this game.
Mittens isn't calling. The All New Sports Show Princess is calling. Thank you, sweetheart. All right, folks, that is going to do it for us today. Ed, put us over one more time.
Obviously, again, Facebook Live, where you're watching this, facebook.com/allnewsportshow, youtube.com/theallnewsportshow, Twitter @allnewsportshow. You are?
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21.
I am at Edward Green. Email us allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Again, we are going to be trying to go live tomorrow. If for some reason we can't get a signal, you will definitely then see them recorded later on in the day as soon as we can get them uploaded. One way or another, you will be getting interviews tomorrow.
And next week in Winston-Salem, you'll be getting you'll be getting our pregame, our halftime, our postgame, all the stuff that you've become accustomed to.
Maybe even a secret stream.
You never know.
Not that we would ever stream a live game that Time Warner Cable and the NCHSA have official rights to. We would never do that.
By no means.
Ever.
As the All New Sports Show Princess is alive and well now.
Yes.
But definitely we'll be there. We'll be doing some press conference stuff. We'll have our interviews. Hopefully the good interviews is what we want. But yeah, I think that's about all we got this week.
That'll do it. Do you want to take us home?
Once again, thank you so much for tuning in for us. Next week will be our last true coverage show.
Yes.
And then we will be bringing around the new year, the Christmas spectacular.
Which, by the way, won't actually be Christmas weekend.
Yeah, it won't be Christmas this year. It'll be a little after.
Because Christmas is a Sunday.
Yes, it'll be a holiday.
Yeah, spectacular. Non-denominational.
Non-denominational, of course.
Yeah.
Let's finish this, and you can tell me, okay? But definitely, check us out for that, and we'll have our all new Big 22, our offensive, our defensive player of the year, and our coach of the year.
I may even save this as play of the year. So anyway,
play of a lifetime. As we said the other night.
So,
all right, that's gonna do it for us, folks. Have a great week. We hope to see everyone in Winston-Salem on Saturday.
Get out.
If you can't make it, check us out. If you can make it, check us out. All right, folks. We'll see you guys there. Go Griffons. She said it. Yeah. We're going to win state.